If you're anything like me, staying consistent does not seem that exciting. I love to plan things. I think that's exciting, like setting the goals and like kind of imagining myself reaching them and everything. But when it comes to actually doing the things, it's not so much fun. Hey guys, I'm Mel and this is Fit Living Inspired, my channel where I share everything that I'm learning about how to live our best high vibe lifestyle through fitness of the mind, body, and spirit so that we can enjoy our life to the fullest and keep reaching new heights. This is going to be a 3-part video because it's kind of long. I kind of went overboard with it, but it's very much related to the last video, which was 5 tips on how to not get bored with your habits or being consistent. So this ties in a lot with that, but it's a little bit different. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the first 4 tips out of the 12. The reason this is important is because we all have things that we want to do. We have goals we want to reach, and we have things that we kind of have to do just by obligation, like work or cleaning the house. So I've been on a mission for finding out how to stay persistent in reaching our goals and doing the needful while also maintaining that motivation and inspiration that we need to actually be successful. And the overarching lesson that I learned is that we need to make the process or the efforting, the actual action taking, we need to make that more fun. We need to make that more enjoyable to us. We all know that saying that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? So we are here to learn how to make that journey more enjoyable for us. To start this, we really need to understand some things about dopamine first. So number 1, we all have this baseline level of dopamine coursing through our bloodstream, and how we perceive things and the different things that we do is going to affect our dopamine levels. And when we have a higher level of dopamine, we are really just in a better mood, we have more energy, we have more drive, motivation, and we might be even a little excited or anxious. But when we have a lower level of dopamine, we tend to be less motivated, more lethargic, tend to be a little bit uninterested, that kind of thing. And I think the craziest thing that I learned about dopamine was that it has a balancing act. So remember, we have a baseline level. Well, if we have a high spike in dopamine, our bodies will actually do a low spike in dopamine in order to kind of like counteract that spike, so it reaches that baseline level again later on. So an example that I heard about this was like eating a piece of chocolate. We get that spike of dopamine, and then afterwards we get a drop in dopamine. So we're like, yay, and then we're like, meh, and then it's like, okay, I'm back. And here's the tip about dopamine that has the most to do with consistency. When we do something just for the reward, the goal, the destination itself, and not so much the journey, like we're just doing it to get that end result, then we actually enjoy the process or the efforting, the actions that we're taking to get there. We enjoy that less because we are only associating dopamine release with the end destination instead of with the journey. So that's why we're learning how to associate it with the journey. And the last little point I wanted to make that I thought was really cool is that it's not just in charge of our motivation, drive, and our general mood, but it's also in charge of our perception of time. So when we're doing something just to reach the end goal, the destination, the reward only, then that would make our perception of time kind of stretch. So it would seem like we're doing the efforting, the task, the actioning longer. All right, so here are the first 4 steps. Number 1, find alignment. If you can, take a second to close your eyes and visualize your dream life. And by dream life, I don't just mean having the house you've always wanted, the body you've always wanted, and a lot of money. I mean Really, how do you want to be spending your time and energy on this earth? So what kind of person do you want to be? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? What are your highest values? What's been calling to you? And once you have a few of those things set, I want you to step in to that dream life and kind of picture your everyday. What activities are you going to be doing? How are you going to be spending your time? How does each one of those things feel to you? And actually try to let those sensations sink in and acknowledge them. Like, what does the air smell like? What does the temperature feel like? What colors do you see? What sounds do you hear? Really feel all of those sensations for a second. And now take a look at the current activities that you have going on in your life. Think about if there's anything that you can be doing differently to match your current activities, your current life to your dream life. Is there anything that you can delegate? Is there anything that you can completely cut out altogether? Is there something that you can start doing and start incorporating? And if there's things that you can't necessarily weed out or delegate, then that's what these tips are for too, because we want to enjoy the process, the journey of our life and doing the things that we need to do. So this is finding alignment. All right, number 2 is probably the most important. Learning to find reward in the effort itself. And this has a lot to do with utilizing a growth mindset. And by growth mindset, I mean by acknowledging, encouraging, and enjoying the effort we're putting into an activity, contrary to just attaining and reveling in the reward or the end result, which is more of a fixed mindset. So for example, if you've read Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, you'll know this, but this example was one that she offered, is like praising a child for studying, like the effort they're putting in, so the studying, instead of just saying like, you're smart. Praising them for the effort will kind of nurture that growth mindset by letting them know like, hey, you have the control of how and how much you study, and you can be as successful as you want to be, versus saying something like, you're smart, and when they don't feel smart, then they feel like, oh, I'm dumb, and then that's just maybe who I am as a person and will always be. That's a fixed mindset. So praising our effort and seeing reward in the effort itself will allow us to start associating dopamine with the activity instead of feeling like we have to have some kind of reward waiting for us at the end. So like praising our effort of studying rather than just feeling smart or being told we're smart. Because again, if we just do something for the reward itself, it disassociates the dopamine from the activity and only associates it to the reward. We want it to relate to the activity. And this brings us to number 3, self-talk. So even though that tip was probably the most important one, this one is my favorite one. We have to be our own cheerleaders, telling ourselves that the effort that we're doing is good for us, that it'll be worth it, and that we're doing it by our own choice is a profound way of staying motivated to keep on doing that effort and feel good about it. Effort starts to feel less like a chore and more of just another way to appreciate and be proud of ourselves. So next time you feel a little iffy about doing a chore or a task, give yourself a little pep talk. For example, if it's like working out, remind yourself how it's good for us so that it gives us those mood boosting hormones. It's great for strengthening our body. It gets us in shape, it makes us look great, it makes us feel great. Remind yourself that every little thing that you do in your exercise is worth it and that you are proud of yourself because you are doing it by choice. And speaking of being our own cheerleaders, number 4 is amp it up. So this goes a little bit beyond positive self-talk in that it's more about milking the benefits of doing that effort or activity. And this further encourages us to continue and appreciate the effort that we're putting in. And this further encourages us to continue and appreciate that we're doing this for ourselves. It's really amping up the momentum. And what this does is it encourages dopamine amplification. So the more that we believe the effort is beneficial for us, the more that effort will actually be beneficial for us. And that's even at a chemical level. So how do we amp it up? We really talk about all of the benefits and the reasons why we love doing the activity. And side note, don't lie to yourself about what you enjoy about the activity. Actually pick things that are general enough to be true. So if it's like exercise, maybe you would like being outside and breathing in the fresh air, listening to the birds sing, feeling your feet on the pavement, the rhythm of your breathing, things like that. All right, guys, so that was my 4 tips today in part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 coming out soon with the next 4, and then there will be a part 3 also. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. I hope you have a great day and stay fly.